Hi folks, Dave, the Honest Audiophile. This is the Blon B60, and these are my honest audiophile impressions. I want to thank Linsoul for providing the Blon B60 for a review. To greatly appreciate it, Linsoul, you rock. Alright, so the Blon B60 comes in this very nice white box. On the back, you're going to get some information. You're going to learn that they have 50 millimeter beryllium coated diaphragms and that they are 32 ohms of impedance and 110 decibels of sensitivity. They weigh 264 grams and they have a frequency response of 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. On the inside, you're going to get your headphones and the cable. That's it. No carrying case, nothing else included. Overall, the build of the B60 is okay. You have this wood type of finish on the cups. Kind of sounds a little bit hollow. Kind of feels and looks like linoleum. And you get metal all around this little suspension strap with a little bit of padding on it. Some small hybrid pads. The cable connects with 2.5. The cable is adequate. It's got this twist to it. And then terminates into 3.5. Overall, I find that the B60 is well built, just a little bit small on the cups. I can kind of feel it on the bottom. And if you touch anywhere on the headphone, you hear it inside the cups. There is a little bit of reverb going on. $155 though, build is adequate for the price tag. How do they sound? The Blon B60 has a interesting kind of sound that I don't know if I love it or hate it. I'm kind of waver every song that I listen to. The bass on the B60 is a little bit one notish. It is definitely more sub bass prominent than mid bass and upper bass. It's got a thinness to the notes. The notes don't have a whole lot of weight to them. There's some impact, but it's not really like a visceral punch type of, it's just kind of noise. Tone is okay. Details are all right. Resolution's not the greatest. And as I said, they're a little bit on the one note side. Mids are not very cohesive, not very well balanced. The lower mids and main mids are definitely thinner than the upper mids. The upper mids are way more forward. And the upper mids have some aggression to them. There's definitely some elevation there. It's a kind of a peaky mids, and it's just not very well balanced. Tone-wise, they're okay. Again, they have that lightweight note, just not a lot of density to the sound. And then that aggressive, shouty upper mids can be fatiguing at times. The treble is also very peaky, definitely has a lot of elevation, and it can be somewhat fatiguing. It is a little bit bothersome as far as being, it can get into hot mode, and there is some harshness and graininess in there as well. Overall, the details of the B60 are okay, but they're not the best resolved. They're not terrible, but there is some graininess and harshness to them, and they're just not very well refined. The tone and timbre of the B60 is acceptable, but it's not natural. It's definitely not a strong suit, but it's not off-putting in any way. It's just not the most natural sound. Soundstage wise, they're actually pretty wide for a closed back headphone. I was rather impressed by the width of the stage. You do not feel claustrophobic at all with these. They have good depth to them, And separation and isolation of instruments and imaging is okay. It's about average. It's not bad. Actually, for the price point, I'm rather happy with the B60. They, I really don't have anything negative to say about them as far as like I don't buy these. You know, if you're considering getting them, I think you'd be content with them. They're just not anything special. And do I think that there are others better and worse? Oh yeah, absolutely. When I was listening to these, I was wanting some more bass, and I was wanting more impact and more note weight. And so I started looking around, finding some of my older gear. And the first headphone that I dug out was the old House of Marleys. Now I've had these for a long time, 5 years, 6 years, something like that. And of course, you have to turn the ANC on, and you get that annoying little LED light. And the bass comes alive, and the details come out, and it just sounds better. If you don't have that turned on, these things are a muddy mess. But when you turn that on, they definitely have more note weight and more bass than the B60, but they don't do everything else as good as the B60. So if I'm looking for a more fun sound, maybe I would go with these. But truthfully, the overall presentation and just overall better headphone is the Blon. The next headphone that I really started listening to in comparison were the Blue Lolas. Now, the Blue Lolas definitely are built better and are more comfortable and are cooler looking. The Lolas sound better. They have more natural, accurate note weight and better density to the notes. They also have more impact in the bass that is even throughout sub, mid, and upper bass. The treble is more controlled, and the mids are more even and cohesive. I found that the Blue Lolas definitely sounded better than the B60. Problem is, neither one of the House of Marleys or the Lolas are available anymore. They're discontinued. So what are some current headphones that you can still get that you may want to consider over the Blon? Well, the first one would be the Marantz Pro MPH2s. Now, these are also a little bit squeaky, but they definitely are well built. And I've had these for about 4 years. And they fairly comfortable, clamped nicely. And to me, they have a better accurate presentation of the bass and of treble. And the mids have a more cohesive sound to them. It is a little bit recessed in the mids, but overall I find that these are more pleasing and more accurate sounding than the Blon B60. But my true recommendation in this price point over the Blon B60 is the AKG K275s. The K275s fold up and are extremely comfortable, very light, just disappear on your head. And they have the most trusted tone and timbre accuracy, details, retrieval, and resolution for a monitor in this price point. I use these every week at church as my monitors. I also do use the Marantz's sometimes as well, but I trust the AKGs to give me the best representation of sound. These can be used both in a studio and for pleasure, and you get better bass representation. The mids are more natural and accurate, and the treble is more represented and true with a great soundstage separation, imaging, depth, and layering in the soundstage that is crazy good. The AKG K275s are an excellent value. But if you are thinking about picking up the B60, they're okay. I can't say not to get them, but I do recommend some other things over them. It's been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next videos, somewhere on the screen, subscription links, notification bells. If you haven't already, please check those off. Don't forget to give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to the video. Check out the links down below for all kinds of information regarding how you can contact the channel, support the channel, follow the channel, all kinds of things down there, music and gear and all kinds of stuff. Check out the links down below. This has been Dave, the Honest Audiophile. Remember to enjoy the music, and honesty is the best policy.